Hey. Oh my God, it's Kevin Peterson.
What, Jay? What are you doing, baby?
Just just living in your shadows. I mean, just living in your shadows. The life,
Whatever.
it's a good life. It's a good life.
I don't know what that's all about, but what's going on, baby? It's been a while.
I don't want to be in the sunlight. I just like living in people's shadows, so I'm more than comfortable. Family Matters. We do this normally every Wednesday. I think we've taken the last couple of weeks off, but you'll see more and more of us. I guarantee it. But anyway. One thing that never goes away is Kevin W. Peterson on Instagram. It's always there, always content that makes you think. I don't like it because it makes me think and look at my life. But anyway, tremendous. You got family coaching at thechronichope.us, his website, his home base. You can find everything. Kevin Peterson at chronichope.us. He's also got a Facebook page just for families and just amazing. He's everywhere. He's just everywhere. Kevin, how are you?
I'm tired. I'm exhausted. That's a lot of, I'm all over the place, and that's just crazy, man. It's killing me, bro.
There's only one you, but I see you everywhere. I don't know how you do it. You must be cloning yourself.
I don't know what the hell is going on, but I've been doing some world, and I'm actually unfortunately next week I gotta go to a funeral in LA. So we might have to pick a different night, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday I'll be out there. But yeah, man, I'm good. How are you, my friend?
Yeah, I could complain, but it's all really good things, I would say. It's just life is. I'm humbled and grateful, but yet I can always find time to complain about something not going my own way. So, what? If I just sit back and just let everything happen, shockingly, this may shock you, but everything kind of takes care of itself, and I start realizing that all that worry and anxiety were kind of useless. I don't know if you've ever had that, but that's my life. That's my life.
Speaking of anxiety and uselessness, Eric Button and Greg Snodgrass are, I guess, commenting on our posts here.
Are they really?
I mean, two of my favorite people.
They're all down on the coast. They're where I need to be in Orange Beach. There's a big Gulf Coast.
Is that what's going on?
Yeah, they're two of our loyal followers, but yeah, they're down in Orange Beach living it up. They say working, but we know better. But yeah, they do a really, really good conference, Gulf Coast Conference, I think it's called, or something. But
we're at your condo. They're eating your food.
Good Lord, man. It's shocking that they don't say anything because they could have easily been doing that, but no, they must like the hotel life or something. But anyway,
that's great. Now there's a conference here this weekend. There's the East Coast Symposium.
We're getting back to being a conference everywhere. I mean, conference on top of conference.
I know.
Oh, eating some Reds. Oh, that hit close to the home. That makes me jealous. You know what? Jealous? I mean, anyway, let's get right into it.
All right, what do you got?
We will be going to the family program at the facility my daughter's is at. Curious to hear if there are any specific questions or topics I should ask while there.
You should read my book for your homework before the weekend. Oh, jeez. All the questions and all the topics are in my book, and there are too many in there to talk about. But I want you to understand, when you go there, you're not, that your daughter's in treatment. She's fine. This is a chance for you guys to do the learning about how to behave differently and work differently and live differently. this is your opportunity to do some stuff. I know you think you're going for her. You're not. You're going for you. If that makes sense.
It makes zero sense until I actually went through it and realized, like, as someone being the individual that they're coming to visit a family program, it was refreshing to understand it's not just pointing fingers at Jay and how he screwed up my life. It's a good family program will take a look at, it's in the name, the family and the family dynamics. But you're absolutely right. It's read his book, but that will prepare you, but also go in with an open mind. And I think there's some families, you probably, more versed on this, but they go in with specific, like, let me tell you about what Jay did, back in 1986. And, let me tell you about this wedding that, it's not about that.
Wait, how did you hear about the wedding? I thought that was we agreed we weren't talking.
If you're in addiction, everyone has a good wedding mess up story. I think it's just, we don't talk about it, but I think we all could create a book on just wedding mishaps.
Jesus, I can tell you that some of the way it's like, oh Lordy Almighty, I'm just yeah. There's nothing like having to make amends for going to somebody's wedding. Thank you for inviting me and spending money on you, and now I need to apologize for basically doing my best to ruin it.
Yeah, and it's addiction comes out at weddings too, especially like if you don't need to go to treatment, sometimes you may do an intervention right after a wedding. But anyway, read his book, Chronic Hope. My 20-year-old son uses THC off and on. His father is successful, so our son has lived well. He flunked out of college, swears he'll get a job, yet oversleeps and comes to job interviews unprepared.
Hi, my name is Kevin. I wrote a book about my experience of flunking out of college and convincing my parents everything was okay. And I didn't use THC on and off. I used marijuana daily, and my dad was very successful. So here's the thing, and thanks for your question. It's a great question. You got to set some boundaries with them. So if you go look at my Instagram, listen to my stories, blah 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 blah. Jay's got a similar story. What happened was my family kind of got tired of my nonsense and sat me down and said, we love you, but this is over. And everything you just described, flunked out of college, smoked pot all day. Oh, I'm gonna get it all together tomorrow. I swear to God, I'm wake up tomorrow and get it all together. And they got tired of hearing that. And you said he's 20. Well, I was 27 when they finally laid it down on me. So I would encourage you to do it earlier. And offer him some support and offer him some structure and offer some help. Like, hey, you're not living with us anymore. You got to get a JOB. You got to start paying your own way. Oh, you're having a tough time with that because you can't stay sober? Great. Let's get you some help with that. And the process and the way and the methodology is outlined in my books. And I would highly recommend you reading them and going after them. And then if you need some coaching, contact Jay and I will walk you through it.
This one kind of goes the same. We're concerned with our son's behaviors. Watch you every week. My question is, we've stated he needs a job, not actively use and communicate with us. He's failed. Do we just cut him off financially? He kind of knows what, you set the Kevin Peterson kind of 3 pillars and so forth. They're asking, which is a good question, what happens if there's lack of follow through, not following through on the commitments?
So I'll leave that one up so I can tell. I got okay. Okay. So the answer is, yes. I mean, I would cut him off financially. He needs to have a JOB and pay. Now, I'm not saying kick him out of the house. If he's living under your roof, that's fine. But no internet, no phone, no car, no gas, no spending money, no social life. If he wants those things, he needs to get a JOB and start providing those things. He also needs to be sober, and he needs to be treating you with respect. So I think I'm glad you watch every week. I would really like it if you could read my book, or one or both, and come back and say, oh, okay, I hear what you're saying. How do we do this? because I mean I can tell you what to do, but the methodology is included in here as well, and it's only $10. And I think that's probably the best way to go about it. Because yes, what you need to do is hold them accountable with love and compassion and empathy. You're not walking in with a big stick and whacking them on the head. You're just like, hey, you're welcome to live here, but here are the rules. Just as if I was living in your house. If I came to live in your house, you'd be like, well, here are the rules. You got to abide by the rules, So no difference there. Same situation. We got an interesting question.
I believe it'll all be public. So anyone that goes onto the Intervention on Call page or any page that we're currently, there is no private. So if you need to get private, you can DM or private message one of us directly. That will get a lot of people, that's where I get majority of our questions basically is the private. So some people, if you're uncomfortable with having your name attached to or anything, it will be public. It will be on whatever page that you're viewing us right now, because we're on several pages. So I can say that there's no private pages. I don't believe that we're on. So I don't think we're on. Do you have any private pages?
Nope. Okay. Don't even know how.
So it would be public. So I will say that.
Just send us a message and we'll be happy to make it. I mean, you'll notice all the questions we're answering don't have names attached to them. So we're happy to do that for you, Cindy, and we appreciate you commenting. So please let us know. We want to help you.
In the early days, we've learned. This is all about learning. In the early days, we did, and we got a lot of feedback that, even I use first names only, but anyway.
Yep.
Our daughter recently told us that her husband has been drinking a lot and become very violent when drunk. Our son-in-law, who's that same, worked for us in our family business, and they have 2 precious daughters. I get this a lot. There's a lot of mixed matches of roles within the family.
Right. So I'm going to sound like a freaking broken record here. I'd really like it if you get my book and read my book or watch some of my videos, because the answers are all right there. You have an amazing opportunity to heal your family system. There's 3 generations. There's the parents, there's the daughter and son-in-law, and then there's the children. 3 generations are being directly impacted by this guy's drinking. So there's a way to approach it that does not have to be threatening, angry, and punishing or shaming. You can approach it with a great deal of love, empathy, and compassion, and saying, hey, we love you. We love you, and we love our grandchildren, but we don't love this. This is not okay. And it's not okay for us. It's not okay for your wife, and it's not okay for your kids. And so we would like to help you. Now, if he doesn't want the help, well, then he's going to have some consequences around that, have some boundaries. But again, there's this perception that the family always has to walk in and put a gun to their head, in the old school, intervention where it's like, a nuclear showdown. You don't got to do that anymore. There's a whole nother way of going about this, and just sitting down and saying, hey, we love you. You're our son-in-law, and you're married to our daughter, and you take care of our grandchildren, and you work for us. But this behavior, not acceptable. And we want to help you. We don't want to punish you and shame you. We want to help you. And that's the key. That's the key ingredient, is how to go back to this person and say, let us help you. And that's what Jay and I do for a living. So the resources are right there, and it doesn't cost $50,000 or $25,000. I mean, we can find you solutions that are very affordable, so inexpensive compared to what you could be spending. And so let us help you is the answer to your question. And there's definitely a way to go about it. So there you go. That's my 2 cents.
Well, I think you raised a good question. I think I always try to bring this up, and I always somewhat forget or just kind of overshadow. And I think, here's what I do know. I think there's I'll just say, like, there may be a belief, whether it's true or not, maybe I'm just making stuff up, that it's just a one-time thing where you do an intervention, or you just need to have one sit down and you need to get everything out, and you need to do it perfectly and so forth. A lot of what Kevin does, even what I do, it's, even when dealing with an intervention, it's it's not really always just that intervention. We stay with you, Kevin, especially as a family coach. This isn't a one session where he jams everything in and then high fives you and wishes you luck and just, ghost you from there on. Like, I would believe that Kevin will support. I mean, this is a long, long process. And this is what most people need to understand, that it's a long process, and it doesn't all have to be done in one family sit down or one family anything. I'm sure with all your sessions, you don't do one session and done with it. So through the whole session, you have a roadmap to it. And when things come up, you have a Kevin Peterson or anyone else kind of there with you. So I think there's this belief that it may be just a one-time sit down, let's get everything out, and everything's going to be solved. I mean, I know you do long lasting sessions. You like staying with families. So explain that kind of process.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Yeah, thank you for that's a great lead in, and I appreciate that. And one of the most important things I think for families to understand is, like you said, it's not a one and done process. And when I break it down to either like 4 or 8 sessions, and we try I do have an agenda. The first one is always, it depends on where the family's at, right? If the initial situation is like this last family that said, hey, he's drinking, he gets violent, what do we do? It's like, okay, well, let's put together a plan right now. Let's put together, that's going to be the first session. We're going to put together a plan, and we're going to sit down and we're going to talk to them, and we're going to have this plan, and we're going to see how that plan goes. And if it goes well, great. If it doesn't go well, then we're going to have plan B, and plan B is going to be more intervention and treatment. And then once that happens, then we can focus. We obviously have to sort of put out the fire, right? One of the biggest things people always talk about is, well, I went and saw a therapist, and this was the issue, and they wouldn't talk to me about the issue. They just stared at me, and I was like, yeah, I know. It's like you come home and your house is on fire, and the fire department's there, but they haven't turned the water on, and they're like, so how does it make you feel to watch your house burn? How do you think the fire started? What does this make you remind you of? And you're like, turn the goddamn fire water on, and so we're going to put the water on the house right away. We're going to come up with a plan and address the plan right away. But once we get that done, then we need to sit down and talk about the family system and how we got here and what happened and how we got here. And then also how we make sure we don't get back here. So, that's definitely the agenda. That agenda can take, hi, Jay. You went and you came back. You're like, that's amazing. That was incredible.
Sometimes when you just draw on and on, I have this like internal hook, but it probably was right at the good point. But I also want to say that here's what I know. And I mean, I'm basically technically online sitting next to Kevin, and we do this every week and so forth. But I think it's interesting when he mentions, reading his book. So I get a lot of families that are just butt on fire, and everything is kind of crashing in. They're surrounded by chaos. They're surrounded by addiction. Kevin easily is going to a solution that costs like $10, $15, $20, whatever the book is. And so I think people sometimes realize that here is a game map. Like if the walls are on all fire, we're offering, instead of 20,000, 30,000, buy a book. Kevin's book just so happens to be tremendous there's always themes with these questions, and a lot of those questions can be answered directly with Kevin. So I think there's interesting, like people like, oh, another book. Well, we're offering, what is it, $15 or something
10.
online? $10. I mean, here's a solution that you can pay 10, you do some reading, and I'd be willing to bet that some of those answers, if not all, or give you a good glimpse, and you paid $10. So you may pick up the phone and call some stranger.
Uh-oh.
So we're doing some major work on my condo. So obviously but you pay $10 and you get to answer these questions. And so that's all I'm saying is like he may be promoting his book, but the book is really, really good, and it's $10 instead of paying $20,000-$30,000. I think you can afford $10.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. All right.
Well, we kind of fired through all the questions this week. Have always kind of been the same questions. All right. Briefly, I brought the book and highly recommend the read. It's an easy and full of beginning of Jersey.
Please leave a review on Amazon, Cindy. I would be super duper grateful.
Well, that couldn't have been timed. We do not set that up. Like sometimes God just shines down on me occasionally in between my Wi-Fi breaks, and the book helps. And why not invest $10 and see if it helps? Because there's a good chance, Kevin won't say this, but there's a good chance a lot of the questions that you're having currently, or how to deal with it, or how to handle it, and how to communicate, how to set boundaries, all these things that a lot of the questions we get, please keep firing the questions. We'll keep answering. But much like this week, we kind of fired through. There's an overriding theme. And so that's why we kind of just went, right through. And we're offering a $10 solution to a lot of your problems. I'll say that.
Yep, that's right. Absolutely. Happy to help.
So, well, we're done. I mean, this is, it feels like it was kind of a light work week for you with this. Like, I think we gave you 4 very similar questions. So one of these weeks we will stump you, but keep the questions coming. If you want to go direct message or email or anything like that, please reach out. You can.
We're getting close to the holidays, so things are going to families are going to start having some fun stuff.
We get everyone at the family table, and all of a sudden the secrets but anyway, we'll do this next week, and we may be starting an Instagram live too.
Instagram live.
So even more reason to start following Kevin W. Peterson, and he just lets me come along too, and I enjoy every single time. So we will do that. Look for that, but we'll do it. We may not be doing it Wednesday night next week, but we'll certainly. The replay is what I love about this. If you missed it live, sometimes we do funky hours, but you can always watch a replay of it and write the questions if you want in the comments, or if you want to do email or direct message, we'll get your questions answered. We cut it up and email you a little snippet of how Kevin answered your question directly. So that's it. That's all. Clock out. Well, you're ready for the weekend.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll do it next week.
Alrighty. I'll see you.
Okay. Bye.